What's up, what's up, what's up? Let's see who ends up chiming in on here. Colton, what's up? Got the still in the forge, warming up. We are doing a, let's see here, power hammer. One of my good friends and a guy who is one of my apprentices. He made this. His name's Steve Jennings. He made the power hammer. Brought it to me from Kansas. 40-pound ram, works like a champ. Fantastic. Sounds like a fantasy, man, but holy cow. You know how it goes. It's always nice to be able to grow your hair out. Right now, it comes down to about right here. And it's not fun having it whenever you are foraging and you're sweating and all that stuff. So, I am making a steak turner today. Y'all have seen me make steak turners in the past. You've seen me make like a steak turner in the past. I sold the one that was going to be mine at Blade Atlanta. So I took all my steak turners, and the one that I was going to use, I ended up selling. I sold out all of my steak turners in like the first hour. So I want to make another one for myself. I'm going to do a bunch of different twists on this. It's going to be a little bit different than like your standard ones that I normally make. This is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to make a nice loop on the back end of it. It's going to be a good looking steak turner. But I've got to take this 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square of stock. But basically, I've got a bar like this. What's up, Steve? Got a bar like this that I need to take and make into the steak turner. So I'm going to have to neck things down a little bit, change it up a little bit, and I want this to be absolutely awesome. I got the Rimburger going now. Hell yeah. How you doing with the heat? It sucks. The like I like that. I built a pool area and all that stuff yesterday. So man, and I did it as legit as possible. But I was outside all day yesterday, and I got some sun. I got a lot of the sun. All right, let's go ahead and forage while we're talking. So I've got to bring this down and narrow it down quite a bit. Using the horn and the round side of the rounding hammer to really compress it. This is my lightweight anvil and anvil stand. My bigger one's back here, that's 170 pounds with a really big base. This is what I take to shows, and of course is the anvil that was sponsored for the channel by Texas Farrier Supply and Jay Nilsson from Forged for Fire. But we're using the horn and the round side of this hammer. Flat side, round side. And what we're doing is we're pinching the heck out of it and compressing it down as we go. we're going to take it, we're going to start bringing it down and tapering it down. We're going to start bringing it down to a nice point as we go. Some of y'all are probably looking at me like, why is this dude wearing shorts and a tank top and blacksmithing? Well, for one, it's really hot outside. Two, as soon as I get done doing this, I'm going swimming in the pool I built yesterday. So, yeah. Okay, heat back up. See, it's really starting to come down to a point, and I'm keeping it square as I go. I'll end up rounding it at a certain point. At least I'm not wearing a kilt. Hey, if I was at the Dragon Forge, it would be. I will tell you this though. The nice thing about the kilts is having all that airflow underneath. It keeps your undercarriage nice and cool. Way too much effort. No, not enough effort at all. This is my baby hammer. This is a 2 Basterds hammer. This is no effort. This is effort. Effort, no effort. Effort, no effort. I still swing that hammer the same way I swing this hammer. That's a 5-pound. So you go from that other one's, this is a 3-pound hammer, this is a 5-pound. Remember, it might look like I'm going crazy with the forging or putting a lot of work behind it, but I'm not. My swings that are right here, these are baby swings. If I was trying to forge down like some 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch 5160, these hammer strikes would be coming from here and blasted. All of these are baby hits. Little bitty old tiny hits. I'm using the rebound more than anything at this point. As opposed to this. Those would be bigger hits. Nice and square. reason why I'm keeping it square is because I'm going to end up doing multiple twists. So it's going to go into the vise, and I'm going to be twisting it multiple directions and making it look really cool. At this point, I could go ahead and actually grab it from this side and start forging the other side down. So, to give you an idea of the twists, this is one of my little hookers that gets the moves the stuff around in the forge. So this has multiple twists. We're going to be doing that to this. So that's going to be what we're going to do. We're going to end up putting it in the vise and doing multiple twists to it. Let this heat back up. So, if you're wondering what we're making, we are making a steak flipper or a steak turner. Basically, if you look it up online, it's a rod with a hook on the end of it so that you don't have to grab the steaks with tongs. You just take it, hook your little steak flipper in there, flip that bad boy over. I need to give it about another 20 seconds and we'll start forging it down. Okay, switching back to my two Basterds hammer. You know, they are the sponsor for my live streams. Two Basterds, Texas, Smithy, and Supply, Frank and Nita are the two Basterds. Alright, let's go ahead, start blasting away at this. Again, back on the horn. Back around. This anvil likes to move a whole lot because of that base. I like it because it's nice and lightweight. So whenever I'm going to shows, if I'm traveling and doing demonstrations, it's nice to be able to throw this anvil in the back of the car and take it to where I'm going, because the anvil is only 100 or 200, 112 pounds. So it's nice and light. And the base weighs like about 25 pounds, as opposed to this 170 pound anvil that's attached to that like 45 pound base. It's a lot. Face. Kind of square it up just a little bit. Don't have to go too crazy with the squaring just yet because we got to draw that out. What you'll see is that the broadest part of this, or the widest part, is to the center of it, because we want to be able to have a nice little grip section for your hand. So that area needs to be a little bit bigger, and we're going to be putting a twist in that section so that we have a lot of grip in that little area there. Back to the flat of the anvil. Keep drawing it out. tapering it down. So on this side, we're going to end up bringing it down pretty narrow because I want to be able to do a twist and a loop on it. But we're still keeping it square as we go. The nice thing is it's hot enough in here that the steel is heating up quick and it's keeping its heat. What are y'all saying? Trying to learn something? Well, thank you for that, Officer Reports. Hopefully you do. So this anvil is really nice. Again, it's the collaboration between Jay Nielsen from Forged in Fire and Texas Farrier Supply. Of course, Texas Farrier Supply is one of the sponsors for the channel. They supply things like anvils and whenever I'm going to do demos, they supply a lot of the tools and things that I need during that. Really appreciate them. And of course, my hammers are supplied by two Basterds, Texas Smithy Supply. If you want to get the hammers that I use in my shop for this, just check them out on Facebook. Two Basterds, Texas Smithy and Supply, or F&N Metalworks. The cool thing about them is it's not some huge company. It's just two people, husband and a wife, who make hammers. And it's hilarious that they go by two Basterds, but they're being a husband and wife. Frank Machado and Nita Machado. Absolute amazing people. The funny thing about them is whenever we're at knife shows, people ask to do like pocket dumps where take everything out of your pockets that you're carrying, whether it be your EDC knives, you know, tactical wallets and pins and all that. Frank is like, all right, cool. You have to use a table for him because he's got like 3 firearms and like 12 knives. And he's the only person I know that EDCs hammers. I'm going to show y'all the difference from where we're at right now and what we started with here in just a second. So as you can see, how much length I got out of this already. Okay. What we started off with, what we have. We've doubled its length already. What's the steel? It is mild steel. That's all you need for these. I'll tell you what looks cool is if you do this out of rebar and then you twist the rebar, it gives that, so that cool pattern that's on rebar by default, it twists that pattern. It looks really cool. Nope, it's going to be a steak flipper. I sold the steak flipper that I was going to use as my personal steak flipper at Blade Atlanta. So I'm going to make myself a really cool one with multiple twists and all that. I'm going to do, I think, 3 or 4 twists in this. So reverse twisting it one direction, then the next. Like that right there. So multiple twists on it. It's going to be pretty cool. And what we got to do is we got to taper it all out. Whoop, there we go. My phone decided to overheat. So we are going to make sure that it doesn't do that again. There we go. The joys of a ton of heat in the shop. There we go. Whew. I wasn't kidding when I said it was hot. So it's probably 120, 125 degrees out here right now. It's a spicy son of a gun. So it's about, let's see, it's 125 degrees in the shop right now. I'm wearing swim trunks and a tank top forging. All right, I'm gonna grab this with the other tongs. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and draw out that center a little bit. That way I can thin it down just a hair, get a little bit of extra length, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start twisting it. I actually modified these because I'm turning the other ones that I have. I've got a whole bunch. Yay, unmuted. Thank you for letting me know. Whew. All right, so let's grab a little bit bigger hammer. We're just gonna neck this down a little bit. Big swings. Just taking and bringing that center down just a little bit. We should be able to square it up and then go ahead and put it in the vise. I'll zoom y'all in whenever we do that, and we'll go ahead and do the twists. I'm gonna have to drink a lot of liquids while I'm out here. The cool thing is, the moment that I'm done with this, I'll cannonball at the pool that I set up yesterday. That was a little bit of a task, because I have like a full frame all the way around it, did sand, did all kinds of stuff, dug out the ground. It was a lot of work. Okay, let's square up. Draw this end out just a little bit more. What I'm doing right now is I'm squaring it so that when I do the twists, they look real clean on the edges. You don't want a bunch of dents on the corners when you do that twist. Okay, grab it from the other side, Go ahead, heat up this side, flatten it. Whenever we do our twists, we want to do them back to back to back to back. We don't want to have it set up House-made is awesome. Steve is actually building me my house-made grinder right now. Steve Jennings, if you didn't know, is the wonderful person who made my power hammer, for one. But what we're going to do on this next heat, like I said, we're going to flatten out the back side of this, or what's technically the front side of this, the opposite of what we've been forging. And then when we do the twist, we want to do them back to back. So we want to do one of the twists, put it in the forge. Heat it back up, do the next twist. Put it in the forge, heat it up, do the next twist. I'm going to be cooling it as I go. Whew. So I'm going to be taking it, and the part that's going to go, basically I'm going to twist it from, twist one side, then flip it over, put that section in the vise, and then I'm going to twist, cool that area, or heat it up again, cool the area down that I don't want to twist, and then put it in the vise and twist the last section. That way it'll be in reverse 3 sections. Grab one of these waters. We're going to be out here doing stuff like this in 120 degrees. You got to stay hydrated, guys and gals. Okay, so let's flatten this side. Get that taper looking nice and smooth. Big swings at this point. So all we're trying to do is flatten and smooth. Make sure our corners are super sharp. Make sure our tapers are nice and even. Everything is centered. So we want those corners nice and sharp. You see how crisp those are? So when we do our twists, it makes a really cool twist on there. And we want those nice tapers. Remember what we started? We've almost done 2.5 of the length by doing these tapers. So I'm going to go ahead, put it back in the forge, let it heat up, and then I'm going to zoom y'all in to the vise, and we're going to do those twists. Woo. It is a spicy son of a gun. Hey Nisha, can you give me my headband thing? It's either in the drawer, on the counter, or on the little white desk. I see you over there swimming. Got my daughter over here swimming in the pool that I set up. She's so excited. Ain't nothing like being a 6-year-old and having a pool, is it? All right, so let's zoom y'all in over here. Whoop. Make sure we have the right. There we are. That'll work for right now. I'm going to end up zooming y'all out, of course, here in just a minute. Whew, okay. Get a little bit of this out of my way. Nice thing about this anvil is I can take it, roll it. Y'all ready? I'm gonna stand on this side, that way y'all can actually see me twisting. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dunk the bottom section in water. Just to cool that bottom section so it doesn't really mar up. Crank it down. Tight twist. There it is. Go ahead and take your forge scale off that twisted section. That's the first twist. Nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab it from the other side. Put it in there. You what? What's up, Nisha? Oh yeah, shattered the whole back of it. So I've got to have my foam protector off the phone whenever I'm doing this, or it'll overheat really fast. Sorry, I just realized that y'all were like 2 inches away from my face. But because I had it off and I had the wet paper towels behind the phone, it flew out, landed on its back, shattered the whole back of my phone. So that's always good. That's what I do for the live streams. Watch Forged in Fire live show. The actual anvil that I'm using was sponsored by Texas Fair Supply and Jay Nilsson, the guy that like beats the hell out of the knives on Forged in Fire. I go and I do demos with Jay Nilsson and Doug Marcano. I'll be at one and Fort Worth here in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to pull off a further section of this. Grab it about right there. Do a counter twist. going to end up having to straighten this out at a certain point. We're going to take that forge scale off again. But you'll see how I straighten this out when we get to that point. Still got one more twist to do. We got to put it back in the forge. Whoop. There's 2 twists. And because this is mild steel, I can go through and cool this down with the water pretty much as many times as I want. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to isolate the section that you want to twist. So I'm putting the section that's going to go into the vise in the water and cooling that down so that whenever I twist it, that section doesn't want to twist in the vise, because that's what's going to happen. If it's still hot right there, that square that you forged will round. It'll roll over. Or whenever you tighten it down, it'll put the pattern that's on your vise, which this has almost no pattern whatsoever, but it'll put that pattern, it'll press it into the actual steel, and then you'll have to forge it smooth or fix it later or do something to make it not have that pattern. So the section that's going into the vise needs to be cooled down, okay? Now, I have people that wonder why I do this format versus doing videos. A lot of it's so that I can answer questions and talk about it in real time as I'm doing it, so that you'll actually get a better education. So many weapons before you run out. I can make so many more than I already have. But yeah, them by themselves. So there was like a little controversy that happened because David Baker was selling the display weapons, or the weapons from Forged in Fire from the set. And a lot of people were like, how dare you sell other makers' pieces? Why didn't they go home with the makers that had them? But he was selling the ones that he made to do the test demos on. So the ones where they would pull the cloth off of it and show, hey, this is what you need to make, he made those. And then on top of that, he had to do some of the cutting tests with it to make sure that it could even work, or that they chose the right test. But those were the ones he was selling. Alright, we're going to cool down the bottom section of this again in the water. Just that bottom section, that goes in the vise. Write that down. Got to make sure we're going the right direction. Now we have the 3 twists. So now we need to heat it up and straighten that out. I'll show you how we do that. Let's go ahead and zoom you all back out and point y'all in the right direction again. There we go. Other anvil. I have a few of them. I think right now I've got 4 anvils, but I only claim 3. Partially because the one that's down here is like the original Harbor Freight anvil. That is like the second to most useless anvil on the planet. That little Doyle anvil that they have is actually pretty decent. This old school one with that crazy moose nose on it is useless. Unless you just need something hard to hit on top of. Okay, so we're going to grab this wooden mallet. We're about to forge with a wooden mallet. Okay? Y'all ready to do some wooden mallet steel forging? Now we're going to grab it from the other side, straighten the opposite side. Keep that back up. So the cool thing is the mallet, because it's only hitting the wood for a split second, it doesn't catch on fire. It barely even singes, to be fair. So as I'm hitting that, it's barely doing anything to this. Lives in a quarter, but now it's still a good anvil. 66 V-bore London pattern. That's actually a pretty decent anvil, actually. The one that's back here is a 136-pound V-bore anvil. Absolutely love it. It has one of the flattest faces and the biggest faces out of all the anvils. So I use that whenever I'm trying to make something super flat, or if I'm using my straightening hammer and getting something like straightening out a bent blade. I use that for it, or I use it for that. Again, come in here, figure out what needs to be straightened. Okay, that's looking good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and round out. I'm going to round out the side that's going to be the loop. I'm going to do the loop first, and then I'm going to go ahead, flip it to the other side, round out that section that's going to end up being the point, or the tip of the stake flipper. It should be pretty cool. So the nice thing about these is, again, whenever you use tongs to flip steaks, you take the seasoning off the steak or chicken every single time you flip it. Grab it with that, got to scoop underneath it, flip it, or do whatever, take seasoning off, and I hate doing that. So steak flipper, just poke it, flip it. Don't have to worry about grabbing it, removing steak seasoning, or screwing anything up. Go back to the 2 Basterds hammer and just start rounding this. I'm actually going to go to the horn, start this. And we're just forging on the edges. And back to the face of the anvil. We're just taking and rounding the edges on that. Put that back in there. I'm actually going to use my other anvil for this part just because I haven't gone through and really rounded the edges of this anvil. They're still pretty sharp. So what I'm going to do is move this anvil over. Y'all can see that for the most part. I've got this nice and rounded right here. Let's zoom y'all in just a little bit. So I have this section nice and rounded. So whenever I'm forging on this corner doesn't screw up the it doesn't screw up the face of the twist whenever I go up to that point. Now you can see we've rounded that tip. I'm going to end up doing a loop on there now. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to flatten it one more time with the wooden mallet. Then I'm going to basically tap it flat and then use my scrolling tongs and twist it. And I'm going to twist it right here so y'all can see me twisting it. These are scrolling tongs. Block of wood. Yeah, a block of wood works just fine. You can actually take so a 4x4 post or something like that and chop it down and use it because it's going to be, I'll show you. So you just took a 4x4 post like this right here, chopped it down, hooked in a dowel or something like that. You can take and remove a little bit of material and use that if you want. Okay. Flatten this and twist it. Not twist it, but curl it. Take this, grab the end. Move it back in on itself. Take the hammer. Drop it back. Back in the forge and heat it up, but loop, I'm going to heat it back up and I'm going to fix that so that it's nice and really round. I want it to be a really perfect circle. That's the van. Damn it, some of y'all probably don't know. All right. I'll take that circle. The only thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to heat it back up and I'm going to twist that to the right, well, technically to the left, and center it up in the square pattern. I want to do that so that everything lays flat. So whenever I put it on a hook or whatever, it lays in the right orientation as opposed to slightly at an angle. I do that with a lot of my loops and hooks and stuff like that. So whenever I sit them on something, like this hook's here, which means this needs to be pointed out or the other direction. You don't want it pointing this way, because when you hook on something, it's going to be stabbing the thing that's hooked onto. Now, Doug, whenever you were talking about that, am I making a wand earlier? You know, I sold all of my pointers at Blade. People bought them so they could be wands. That's what they were going to use them as, wands. No, it's cool with me. Yeah. So now, all I got to do is move that over just a hair, but we're in line now. Oh, and hi to all of y'all people saying hi. I appreciate all your highs. So now we got to take this side and round it. Let's zoom y'all back out just a hair. Man. I'm not gonna lie, if y'all haven't noticed already, it's hot in here. Woo. So now we're gonna take and round the side that's gonna become the hook. Toss those tongs right there. We're gonna round that. We're gonna use this anvil for that section. Give it a nice round taper. Grab another bottle of water. If y'all are going to be out in y'all shop doing some stuff like this, you got to stay hydrated. I cannot overstate that. You will pass out trying to do this for a long period of time. So when I'm at the Dragon Forge doing that, we forge for 10 hours a day. Back to back to back to back sessions. I'll tell you right now, you sweat so much that your sweat comes out as salt, no longer comes out as liquid. You feel like you were in a sandstorm. The rude style. Who are new to watching someone blacksmith, if you're wondering why I'm so choked up on the hammer, why I'm grabbing it all the way up here, you grab it here for fine work. That's going to be your fine work. Back here for swinging like a mother, you know what? So whenever I'm going through it, I'm twisting, and I'm just trying to keep a nice, steady, consistent spot and rhythm. I'm going to choke up towards that head and work with it. That's the point behind where we hold on the hammers. Unless you're a Farrier. If you're a Farrier, holy crap, those guys are forging from back here the entire time. Farriers just be doing this. Fine work like this, swinging like this, the whole thing. Farriers are a different breed, man. Different breed. I wanted to make that a little bit thinner. As soon as you start losing heat, whenever you're getting down to it being that fine, put it back in the forge, stop hammering. You will start crushing the steel. Not sure, but I believe in you. Plunder shop, you're not too late. We still are making this thing look like a thing. Woo! I am so ready to jump into the pool. I don't know if y'all understand if I've mentioned it enough. Okay, on the next heat, I'm just going to focus on the tip. Bring that out before I go to the 2x72 and I grind a point in. It's a lot better to grind the point in than it is to try and forge it really tiny because you risk crushing the steel. Do that one more time. I'm going to turn my grinding workbench so y'all can actually see what I'm going to do. I'll change the camera angle. I've got the knife that we forged last week in the sanding device right now. I'll one of the two knives. I'll take that out here in just a second to show you all. Okay, good there. Let's go ahead and rubber mallet this thing, or plastic, wood mallet. There we go. Nice and thin at that end. Whew. Just leave it here for a second. Change y'all's angle and change the belts on the 2x72. So let me change where y'all are pointing over to the 2x72. Oh, and by the way, there's my ribbon burner forge. I haven't fully set it up yet, as you can tell. We're going to use a Norton 120 grit belt for this. Just show you all this real quick. So this, that is the shaft that we forged last weekend. One of the two. I've got it in here so that I can do my maker's mark on it. What do I say here? If it's broke, I'd love to see a nice center punch with your personal touch. Yeah, I mean my center punch is about as simple as possible. The one that I use for drifting my holes and everything, but that is forged by me. That's my drift and punch. Okay, let's put this back down so we don't stab ourselves. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to grab 2 sets of tongs here. The end that has the round is going in one. So, 2 sets of tongs. This one has round slots in it. Then we hold it by the loop. And I can sit there and spin this and grind in that taper without touching hot steel. nice and pointy. Back in the forge, heat it up. Now we need to push this back. That's why I love having things on wheels. We're going to take our water bucket, pull that over, point y'all back in the right direction here. Yoink. Whew. Maybe right about there. I'll tell you, one of the things that I changed that I really like about the shop is I've added fans that are up above my workbench. I got 2 fans up there. That was a game changer in the shop. What that does is that pumps the air out the shop as much as possible, the hot air. Okay. So now what we want to do is make our hook. Start with the scrolling tongs. Make sure that that is centered with our flat bar or with the square stock. So we want it centered. Don't worry about how I've got this angled, but we want it pointed the direction so that it's pointed towards that flat stock and pointed. This is going to hook on a hook because this is flat this way, so that needs to be pointed out that direction before we hook it. And then what you need to think about is how you want to flip your stakes. So if you want to hook them and flip them, or hook them and flip them, however you want to do it, what would feel natural in your left hand. So if we hook it down, flip it, or if you want to hook it and flip it, for me, I want to grab, in, flip. Or I want to grab in and flip. So for me, I think what I want to do is hook, flip it. You could hook it and go that way. For me, I want to hook and flip this way. Like that. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to bend it. So if I want to hook it and flip, you should always put that much thought into what you're doing. Hook it and flip it. Bend and snap. You almost overthought it. I'll tell you right now, whenever I'm teaching, I almost always overthink the process. Like, I can solve Rubik's Cubes pretty fast, but whenever I'm trying to teach someone how to do a Rubik's Cube, I almost lose the algorithms and everything. Is that algorithm? Ugh. Whew. Again, we want it to be in the right orientation. What stock did I start with? I started with a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch bar. This bar, size and everything. So this length, that size stock, that is what we started with. Mild steel. Made one backwards, are you gonna give it away? Trust me, I've made like 3 backwards. So yeah, I got some left-handers out there that are they're lucky and got some of my flippers, or my turners, flippers, whatever you want to call them. All right, so we got it like this. So we need to take it. Spin her just a little bit. Mallet. So it's gonna lay like that. Pretty good. Straighten everything back up. So that right there, I will tell you this, whenever you're making these, you want there to be a height difference between this laying down. So whenever you have it on here, you see how it doesn't go all the way down to the face of the hammer? You don't want it to go all the way down because you want it to be able to release off of the stake. If you hook it too much, it'll want to stay hooked in the stake. So you want it to be slightly proud of the face. That make sense? So that's all of our twists. Kept our shoulders nice and square. Multi-twist. So now, here's what we do. We're going to heat it up, and we're going to quench it. This is not super necessary. I'm going to quench the tip for a little bit longer, so it's going to go until it's almost cold. So I'm going to quench it down to about 150 degrees, and then I'm going to dunk the whole thing for about a couple of seconds, and then we're going to hot wax it with beeswax. I need this beeswax to cool down just a smidge. Put it in the old fridge. It's so hot in here that whenever I grab that wax, it just turned to nothing. I'm gonna leave that on top of one of my tools, and I'll rub that in with that tool and give it a nice little beeswax coating. So what we're doing is we're gonna hot wax it. And that's gonna put a nice coating in there. before we do that, we're going to take the finer brush, scrub this whole thing. As much of that fork scale off as possible. I'm going to heat the tip back up. The outside's going to stay pretty hot. And the tip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Take it out. It's going to dry. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it from the hook. Let's lay that down just for a second. Grab that wax. It should be cold enough now. Yep. Then we're going to take this and hit it all the way around. You can see, even though I've dunked it in that water, it's still this hot. And we're waxing this so that it puts a nice coating on it and protects it. Okay, I'm going to put this back in the freezer for a second. Now, we're not putting that on the tip of it because we're going to season the tip while we're cooking steaks and treat it just like cast iron. We don't need that wax on the actual tip of this. Let it cool down for just a second. I'm going to put it in front of the fan. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll take this we'll let that cool down on that hook. And then what we're going to end up doing is we're going to rub it down after that, kind of buff it in. And that'll get rid of some of that excess because we don't need it to be super thick. That is just raw dogging the tip, right? What's up, everybody that said hey? Someone to get some beeswax out here. It's nice having a big bar of it. I need to get a bigger bar though. I started blacksmithing. My son talked me into getting him a forge for his birthday. Nice. So I actually built this forge right here so that I could test it out, my design and all that. It's a small version of my double burner, but it has like a door that opens and all that stuff with the fire brick on it. This one's going to my nephew. He's starting blacksmithing. He's 16 years old. He's really into making knives and stuff like that. Well, he's made some like pre-ground, pre-heat treated knives where he puts the handles on them, sharpens them, stuff like that. But I like with the knife kits that you can get. But this is going to him so he can start smithing. So I'm gonna hook him up with that. He's already got a little anvil. So we should be able to start pretty quick. I'm gonna get him a little, I'm gonna take a couple of hammers from Harbor Freight and I'm gonna turn them into fat peen and a rounding hammer. That way he has two simple hammers. This is gonna be pretty cool. I'm happy that he's getting into blacksmithing and bladesmithing. It's a really cool thing that you can do to earn a little bit of money when you're that age. It's really nice. Okay, I'm gonna change. You still having fun?
Who's about to make?
Okay. It's fine.
About to pour out. About to pour out, Dada. You need help.
Okay, Arlen, I got you. I have got to go mess with the swimming pool. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave y'all like this. Next week, I will probably be doing this a little bit later in the day, as opposed to early like it is today. My daughter has a ballet recital that I gotta go help with, so I'm gonna be doing that. So yeah, I will see y'all. I should still be smithing next Saturday. So y'all will see that. We'll forge a knife. I've got a design that I want to forge, a little chopper, and it's one of my profiles that I did a while back, but it's typically a stock removal profile, and I want to forge it and instead of stock removing it. I've also got a couple of really cool things going right now, stuff that y'all haven't seen. It's going to be really awesome. Some collaborations with Steve Jennings. I've got a it's not a katana, but kind of that sword style that I did for the Samurai Challenge. Something similar. Something similar to this right here. So this is one that I'm going to be working on eventually. I sold the previous one that I made that had a really cool handle on it. So we forged this in one of the live streams. Two-handed sword. And so I've got a version of this that's going to have a longer blade that is going to have a bone handle like I did for the Viking Challenge. So this is the handle. And I'm going to do it the same way that I did the Viking Challenge. So if you can imagine that bone handle with that blade, but slightly longer blade, with a Golden Gate cable. So the cable's from the Golden Gate Bridge that was forged in a canister build. So it's got a badass twist that goes through the whole entire thing. It's canister cable Damascus that I'm making that blade out of. But imagine that handle on a blade like that. But slightly longer. It's going to have a Suba and a Baki. So it's going to be pretty cool. Whew. But yeah, so that's what we have happening next week. We're going to be doing that. And then we've got the military challenge coming up for the YouTube Knife Makers Challenge. I'm going to be doing something fun and cool. I'm betting none of the people that are actually going to be part of the challenge are watching this. So I'll give you all an idea of what I'm going to do. I'm taking one of the swords from the Warhammer 40K game, and I'm going to be making one of those. So I'm making one of the swords from Warhammer 40K. It's a military challenge, but there's no restrictions on what military era, sci-fi, any of those things. So it gives us a broad thing that we can do. So it was either going to be something out of World of Warcraft or it's going to be something out of Warhammer. So that's what I'm going to make. It's going to be a really crazy sword. So that's going to be fun. I'm about to start it soon, and it's going to be epic. So it's going to be fun. But for now, I'm going to go mess with the pool. Y'all have an amazing weekend. I will catch you this coming up weekend. I will let y'all know what time I'm going to be going live, and we'll go from there. But y'all have an amazing week. Thank y'all for participating in the comment section. Lots of comments, a lot of interaction between y'all. I love that. Nobody was really rude or anything, so moderators didn't really have to do much work. I appreciate that. I like to keep my comment section as politically free and everything free as possible because we're knife making, we're blacksmithing, and that's what we're focused on. Having some fun. But guys, thank y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Check out my sponsors, 2 Basterds, Texas Smithy and Supply on Facebook. Also, F&N Metalworks, same people, Frank and Nita Metalworks. They've been doing this for 6 years. If you need a hammer, doesn't matter what type of hammer it is, they also custom make hammers, and they do restoration. So if there's an old school hammer that you like and you want to get it rehandled and all cleaned up and fixed up. You can send it to them. They'll rehandle it, make it badass, and send it back to you. So that's an option that you have with them as well. Plus, if you want a specific size or style of a hammer, they can hook you up. And also Texas Farrier supply for the anvils. All my abrasives, my 2x72 abrasives and all that comes from Texas Farrier supply. Really great guys. It's a locally owned family shop. It is not some big corporation. They're amazing. Whenever you talk to the people there, I mean, it's the people that have worked there forever. You know, parents, kids, all of that. So check them out. Texas Farrier supply. You can get all your belts. You can get pin stock. You can get steel. You can get anvils, forges, hammers, tongs, everything, all from them, and they will ship it to you. Guys, thank y'all. Y'all have an amazing week. And I'll catch y'all next Saturday. Later, y'all.